Hey everyone, this is Stephen Robles from AppleInsider, and this is the Apple Watch Series 7. Or is this the Apple Watch Series 7? They're pretty similar. We're going to talk about all the differences and whether or not it's actually worth it for you to upgrade. Here's our Apple Watch Series 7 review. So this is actually the Apple Watch Series 7. Now, if you have the screen off on this watch and you're trying to tell the difference between a Series 6 or even 5, it might feel like one of those kids' games in the magazines of spot the difference. Is there actually any difference at all? And I actually think the display makes a big difference. Apple said that the new display on the Series 7 Apple Watch is 20% larger than the Series 6. And while 20% might not sound very large, and even seeing it in images and here in the video, it might not seem that big of a difference. I think the larger screen size and the 1mm increase in the casing size, we've went from 44 on the large Apple Watch to 45mm, I think it actually makes a big difference, especially in day-to-day use. We've only had two big updates to the display on Apple Watch since the beginning. From the Series 3 to the Series 4, it increased in the display size, going from that square postage stamp size screen to an actual rounded corner, larger screen on the Series 4. And now this, going from the Series 6 to 7, we actually have a larger display. And whether you like to make text big for legibility or make it a little smaller just to have more things viewable in a list or more text viewable in a text message, the larger display size actually makes a big difference in those use cases. I've actually found I can lower the text size one notch and get more text on the screen and still have it legible to my eyes. If you leave the text size as the default size, both on the Series 6 and Series 7, you're not going to see very much difference there. But if you lower it one notch on the Series 7, I think it'll still be legible to you and you can fit more on the screen. Now, as far as hardware design, the Series 7 is very similar to the 6. You probably couldn't even spot the difference at a glance. There's one major difference from the Series 6 to 7, and that's the speaker grill on the side. The Series 6 had the two lines on the side, and now Series 7 has one line, which I think is a clean look. In addition, Apple is saying that the screen when it's in standby mode of the Apple Watch Series 7 is actually 70% brighter when it's in that standby mode wrist down before you flip it up over the Series 6. I've actually noticed that it's brighter all around. Even when I was outside with the Series 6 and 7 comparing it side by side, I found the Series 7 to be a little brighter, which is welcome, and they're both on the same brightness settings as I was testing it. With the larger display on Apple Watch Series 7, Apple has actually put a full QWERTY keyboard when you're going to reply to a text or email. With Series 6 and earlier, you could do voice to text and you can do the drawing letters, but this is the first time there's a full keyboard. I'm not sure why they couldn't do a full keyboard at least on the Series 6 and earlier on the larger sizes in watchOS 8, but I will say it takes full advantage of the larger display on the Series 7. Letters go all the way up to the edge, even over that little curved display. I actually found using it as a swipe keyboard was pretty good. It's not always accurate. I did mean to say I like this keyboard, and it said I like eggs, which is also true, but not what I was trying to type. You also get two new watch faces unique to the Apple Watch Series 7. You can't get this on earlier devices. One is the contour watch face, which you've probably seen in a lot of photos and videos of the Apple Watch Series 7 around. It looks pretty cool. I didn't think I would like it just seeing it in the announcement, but I've actually found myself using it. You can do two complications, one on the top in the middle of the dial and one on the bottom. And there's also a new modular duo watch face where you can get a small complication in the top left corner and then two large landscape complications. Previously, there was an infographic watch face on Series 6 and earlier where you can get one long complication and then three small ones underneath that. But here, you can actually get two full landscape complications. And it's pretty nice, especially if you want to see the weather in a long complication and maybe your heart rate throughout the day. Or you can use an app like _David Smith's WatchSmith app. You can actually put a photo in one of those landscape spots. I've had the Apple Watch Series 6 for the past year, and I never had to worry about it being slow. And the Apple Watch Series 7 is no different. It's super fast. I never have to wait for it to do anything. It would have been nice to have some kind of performance improvement, but again, there was nothing to complain about before, so it'll be fine for most use cases. Even third-party apps like my favorite podcast player, Pocket Cast, is super fast to navigate directly on the watch, even if I'm listening directly with the watch and not my iPhone around. One use case that I really love the Apple Watch for is when I actually go grocery shopping. I use an app called AnyList, and you can sync grocery lists by store and with a partner, so you can actually share it and cross off items, and it syncs back and forth. And I use AnyList directly on the Apple Watch. And performance had always been good. I don't usually have to wait, I can tap things easily. But having that larger display, and if I make the text just a little smaller in settings, it's still very legible on this size display on the Apple Watch Series 7, and I can actually see one or two more items in the list than I used to. I really like that. As far as health and fitness tracking features, the Apple Watch Series 7 has all the same features as the previous Apple Watch did. There's no additional monitoring or sensors. You still get blood oxygen, you get heart rate, you can take an ECG directly on the Apple Watch, but a lot of those features have been available for a couple years. The tracking is great, workout tracking either with Apple Fitness Plus or doing bike rides, which watchOS 8 has been updated to support better bike ride workouts. All of that works really well, just like you know from previous Apple Watches. Another new feature to Apple Watch Series 7 is fast charging. If you use a proper USB-C power adapter and the USB-C to Apple Watch charging cable, you can get up to 33% faster charging. Now, I actually use a Belkin 3-in-1 tree charger, I guess you could say. It has a MagSafe charger for my phone, an Apple Watch charger, and a place for AirPods. So I don't really experience faster charging using a third-party one like that. But if you're in a pinch or you're traveling, the faster charging is noticeable and welcome if you use a proper USB-C adapter. There's no great improvement of battery life in the Series 7 over the Series 6, but it is plenty of battery to get through a day. Apple is also touting this as the most durable Apple Watch ever. The crystal on the front is 50% thicker at its thickest place. It has WR50 water resistance like previous Apple Watch. But one of the new features is IP6X dust resistance. This is unique to the Apple Watch Series 7, and so because it's new, I figure we should put it to the test. Did I have to go to some sand dunes here in Central Florida to test the dust resistance? Probably not, but it's a good excuse to show you this drone footage of Florida because it was a great day. Now, this dust resistance will help with sand and dirt. Apple even made this part of the promo during the event, showing a wrist crashing down from a bike ride into the dirt. And so I tested it out in some of the sand here on these dunes. And I hit it a lot of times in the sand, over and over, dropping it, hitting it with my arm, and it was fine. I will say I'm glad that it is still water resistant because I went home and washed it off under the faucet. I did find that the digital crown actually stopped spinning for a moment. I had to kind of force it to spin while it was running under the water, probably some dust caught in there. But once I was able to make it start turning, there was no problem. Everything washed off, and it's back good as new, working great, digital crown and all. So here's the big question. Should you upgrade to the Apple Watch Series 7? And this really depends on what Apple Watch you have right now. Now, if you have no Apple Watch, you've never worn one, you don't have one, and you want to get one now, you have a few to choose from. Apple is still selling the Series 3 Apple Watch, which, let me encourage you, please do not buy the Apple Watch Series 3. Yes, it's the cheapest model you can get. It's $200 starting, but it is not a great watch in today's world, especially when you have the Apple Watch SE and the Series 7. I would encourage you, if you don't have the funds to do an Apple Watch SE or Series 7, I would encourage you to look on Amazon or even Apple Refurbished, or just see what's on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist and buy a used Series 4 or 5 or 6 before you get the Series 3. The Series 3 still has that square postage stamp display. It's much slower than the more modern Apple Watches, so I really don't encourage you to get the Series 3. Another option you have is the Apple Watch SE. That starts at $280. And it's a pretty good Apple Watch. We actually got one for my 12-year-old son. We have it in family setup, and it's a solid watch. It doesn't have the always-on display, and it doesn't have some of the health sensors that the Series 6 or 7 has, but it's a good watch. And so that might be a good option too. I would really encourage you, if you've never had an Apple Watch before, I would get one with an always-on display, and that started with the Series 5. Series 5, Series 6, Series 7 all have that always-on display. And if you can do it, the Apple Watch Series 7 with the 20% larger display is really compelling. I would do it. It starts at $400 for the 41mm. It's $429 for the 45mm. and it's really an excellent Apple Watch. It's the best smartwatch you can get. Now, what if you already have an Apple Watch? Well, if you're still rocking the Series 3, which I rocked until the Series 6 came out, it's a great time to upgrade. The Series 7 display is actually impressive. I'm going to be pretty bullish on it. I know a lot of people have been saying it doesn't make that big of a difference, but I actually think it is significant. It changes how you interact with the watch, what you can see on the watch, and it's a great experience with that larger size display. So if you have a Series 3 or Series 4, I definitely think it's a great time to upgrade to the Series 7. Now, if you have a Series 5 or 6, the differences are definitely less. You already have an always-on display. You can do an ECG. If you have a Series 5, you're missing out on the blood oxygen sensor, which was introduced in the 6, and the larger display. Hold out till next year, see what Apple does then. But I would say if you have the funds and you use the Apple Watch a lot, maybe it's for workout and fitness tracking, maybe you really want to have an eye on your health with heart stuff, or you just really like the notifications and responding on your Apple Watch, I do think the larger display is a compelling reason to upgrade. I think the 6 to 7 differences in the display is even more compelling than it was last year, going from a Series 5 to a Series 6. Apple Watch Series 7 comes in 5 aluminum colors: Midnight, Starlight, Green, Blue, and Product Red. It also comes in silver, graphite, and gold stainless steel, and natural and space black titanium. And so check one out in the store. If you have an Apple store near you and you can actually see the displays in person, I think it makes a big difference seeing the display in person as opposed to seeing it in photos and videos. I'm obviously going to be sticking with the Apple Watch Series 7. The Series 6 is still great. I'm going to give that to a family member so they can use it. But I do think that larger display is worth it for a lot of people, especially if you have a Series 4 or older. Well, I'd love to hear what you think in the comments. Leave a comment below in the YouTube description. I'll be in there replying. I'd love to know what you think. If you got an Apple Watch Series 7, if you're considering upgrading, if you have another question, let me know down there. Also, don't forget to hit like on this button and subscribe to the Apple Insider YouTube channel. Hit that bell icon so you're notified of every new video. Don't forget, you can also listen to the Apple Insider podcast every Friday. I host that show with other members of Apple Insider, and we talk about all the Apple news and reviews, and we got a lot of big news this fall especially, so you want to check that out. And also HomeKit Insider, Andrew O'Hara and myself host that. It's all about smart home and HomeKit devices. I think you'll really enjoy it. There'll be links to all of that in the description below. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next time.